Welcome to the R&T Show. The purpose of this platform is to give you and I the opportunity to share our stories, own our identity, and our truth.
This is a cozy space to connect, laugh, and celebrate ourselves. So get comfortable.
On each episode, we bring you real, unfiltered conversations that aim to change your view of the world.
And so today, we shared our personal experience on being a foreigner in SA.
The reason why I really wanted us to talk about this topic is because I feel like people don't really have this kind of conversation. It's never a two-way conversation from a person who's a foreigner versus a person who's a local person, like a citizen, you see. And I just wanted, if maybe there's a little bit of insecurity where from both parties, where they can talk about these things. This can maybe be a show that encourages that kind of conversation to start carrying on. Yes. And also the reason why I feel like it's necessary is because that way we can understand each other, and that
also
way
see the other side of the story as well.
Yes, that way we can have a mutual understanding. That way we can build community.
What was it like for you? Just name one of the things that it was like for you growing up as a foreigner.
So when I came, my experience was horrible because not only are you insecure about
not fitting in,
and not only are you scared and being in a different environment.
From my experiences, I remember when I was in primary school, I couldn't speak the language. I mean, I couldn't speak Xhosa. I couldn't speak English because we came from Zambia.
Nothing is language.
Yes, I couldn't speak. I could speak English, but I couldn't speak Xhosa because obviously I came from Zambia and I was new in the country. So growing up was really hard because the kids would notice that I'm not from here. They'd always see me different, and it was a matter of what is this girl about? Every time they see me, it's just like this girl. Yeah, it was just something just me. My existence was just an irritation because number one, my hair color, the way I dressed, my dress code, the way I spoke, and I just had an accent, and they're just trying to figure out what is this girl.
Yeah, I think everyone had that kind of
so
experience.
I was never seen as beautiful. And I can say that on behalf of all my foreign people. The fact that you're a foreigner, you were ugly enough, okay? And the fact being a foreigner is already you're ugly. Now being dark in complexion is even times 5. Now you shouldn't be existing basically. So it was just really, really hard. You had to battle that, and because of that I was also insecure though because I couldn't speak the language and I really wanted to fit in because I was young. So I made an effort that I spoke the language. And then when I got to grade 3 was when I mastered speaking Xhosa. I started speaking Xhosa very, very fluently, and it really helped. It kind of did help me a bit because then I felt I could be at least part of the circle or like that. But there were still times where I felt I don't belong. I'm not belonging. One way or the other, I'm just insecure because it's just there was always something. Always something.
Yes, that's the thing about coming to a different countries that the local people have a certain way of dressing. There's a signature look that everyone goes for.
Yes.
We come from the DRC, so we are very loud about our dressing,
our
styles. Yes, our styles and how we speak, everything like that. That of course does cause a collision when you are in public or at school and all these places. And there is going to be for the young kids really in primary school, they really go through a lot because at that age you all just want to fit in, and it was something that we really had to adjust. You had to find a common ground and stuff like that. For me personally, I had no choice than to make sure that my grades was great. If you don't look, my grades can speak for me. But the experience was terrible. I think people should understand that a foreign person, before they're a foreigner, they're just human. And if you get to know why the people are here, every country has foreigners, and also people are out there for the purpose of a better life, for the purpose of starting afresh, trying to find something for survival. Everyone's out there to try and find survival, and also
find opportunities as well.
And there is Africans all over the world. In my country there is as well, and there is Congolese everywhere. There's Ugandans everywhere. My uncle drives taxis. He picks me up from work. On the way to my house, there was a lady that needed a lift to be dropped off at the hotel that she was staying at because she was visiting, they say. And so I was already in the passenger seat, and then she was saying she doesn't have enough money to pay. So my uncle asked her if she's comfortable if I'm in the car while we're dropping her off, because his time is up, he needs to go home. So she's like, I don't mind if she's in, you can just drop me off, it's fine, but I don't have much and everything. We're like, okay, cool then.
Come over.
She hopped in, and then as we were driving, I was just like relating to my uncle, just talking about random stuff, just having a conversation and stuff like that. I started to speak English because to make the other person feel comfortable, it's just better to speak a language that everyone else can understand. So I was just speaking English just to be kind. And so there was a time where I had to speak my language, just certain words, so that like because some things were quite personal, and so I was just like talking. And then when we reached the hotel that she was actually getting off at, she said that you guys are very lucky that you guys didn't gossip about me.
Wow.
And she was saying this in Lingala. She's like, Bozana chance, you know, like my Lingala is broken. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it how I can say it. Okay, Bozana chance ke bino botongi ngate because so bino botonga kingai. She says, if you guys are so lucky that you guys didn't gossip about me or say anything negative, I wouldn't have paid. I wouldn't have paid the full price. In fact, I was not even gonna pay anything. I was just waiting for this opportunity so that I can just like not pay, get off, because we were like so shocked, like, what? You guys speaking what? She was speaking in Lingala. We were like shocked and laughing. And she's like, I was like, yeah? It's like, you said you're South African. And that's South African, and I'm Congo. I'm South African, but then she's like doing this. I was like, hey, this girl, you know the vibes. We just like laughed. Like the laughter, we laughed for like 10 minutes, we just couldn't stop laughing. She went from Lingala to French, and I can't speak French, like I was like, hey, yeah,
it's going down for real.
I'm like, where did you learn to speak French? Like, I'm actually I stay in the DRC and I work there, blah blah. I'm like, what? She's like, anyway, in this course in their state, they said,
okay.
Yo, mine is broken, of course. But like, she was like fluent in French, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I'm like, what are you doing in the DRC? We are over here in your country. What are you doing there? She's like, yeah, same thing you're doing here, I'm doing there. What's the problem? I'm like, yo, we laughed, and it was so amazing to see that. And then I ended up asking, I was like, oh my god. So like, how was the experience there? Because I mean, people have assumptions about. I mean, South Africans have assumptions thinking that okay. Must be really, really bad back home compared to here. But she says, of course, life is different for everyone. In every world, in every area, part of every country, every whatever has got different experiences. There's people who are living very, very well where we come from. There's people that are not living very well. In Africa, people that are living very well. Experience is different for everyone.
Yes, that is
but for
sure.
a person to leave their country to your country, it says a lot. Because I mean, you can't just give up everything and start afresh elsewhere, not knowing anything, not knowing if you're gonna die, if you're gonna live, don't know nothing. It just shows that there's a lot that you have to consider before coming. But anyway, so she was just expressing how it's like there, and I was asking a lot of questions because I was mesmerized. We're like, what? But it also it just shows that there is foreigners back home, and you know, with being a foreigner, you never understand until you are one.
Yes.
And I'm sure she also feels some form of insecurities here and there because home is home.
Like I know from, like for instance, like when I was in high school, and there was a time whereby I was in matric actually. There was a time whereby everyone was applying for NETS first because obviously the friends I had around me were citizens. So they were obviously
really laughing.
They were having a conversation like, yeah, we're gonna apply for NETS first. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. So me knowing that I'm a foreigner, I don't have that privilege obviously. So I just basically I was quiet and I was like, yeah, that's nice.
Don't be long.
So obviously now they went on with the conversation and they picked up that I wasn't following through. No, not that I wasn't following through, but I wasn't in the conversation with them. And next time they looked at me and was like, why are you not applying for NETS first? Like, what is wrong? Like, they made it look like it was an issue that I was like, almost like I don't care about my life, I don't care about my education. And I was like, no, guys, like it's not not for the same for me, like, because like I'm foreigner, we don't get that type of privilege. And he's like, no, there is bursaries for everyone. You can apply anyway. The NETS first, they do give bursaries to scholarships or bursaries to like to foreigners. I was like, no, who do you know that is a foreigner that you've seen gotten that type of bursary and scholarship? Like, oh, okay, well, she was like, you know what, let me go and check. So what she did was I gave her my my documents, what you call it again, my asylum seeker. Gave her my asylum seeker, and she went to the department or whatever because she was anyways going to apply anyway. So she went with my stuff, and then when she got there, the lady told her that she's never seen such a paper before.
Because guys, the thing is this: our papers look like
guys,
this. Our identification.
She said that
Wait, let me explain to them what that is. Our identification comes in the form of this.
Yeah.
So our ID identification paper is A4. So I remember when I used to go write exams. What's your A4 paper?
So basically when she went there, they told her that they don't know these documents, they can't help me because I'm not a South African citizen. Then she came back and she was like, oh, they told us that you. And then I looked at them and I was just like, yes, babe. This is what we actually go through.
And of course, get the privileges of the benefits of being a citizen, like in any other country.
One of the things that I remember was the whole thing about food.
Yeah.
And also, like whenever we used to come to school, I picked up that a lot of our local people would never eat from us. Yeah. Somehow we probably have poison or I don't know. Like there was just this thing, man. Like they would never eat food from us unless it's from the tuck shop. Unless it's from the tuck shop. So if you bring food from home, whether it be bread, whether it be like that happened a lot in primary school. I'm not too sure about high school. It still happens in high school, but not that much because obviously we are grown ups now, and so unless they're used to you or just there was just this thing, there was just this stigma about foreigners and their food. Like we don't trust them, poison the eyes and so forth. So
can you tell me like a little bit more on your experience with it? Because I haven't really experienced with people don't want.
I remember in high school, I'll never forget this boy in my life. There was a time where so there was a time where I used to bring fat cookers to school, fat cooks that my mom would bake, and sometimes I'd make them in high school. Or in Maula in Swahili, right? Lingala.
Mikate is Lingala. So the fat cooks, like the foods we eat are all the same across the board in Africa.
But they're just made differently.
They've got different tastes. Of course, it won't be like a signature fat cook, signature like guinya. But we have like something that looks like or tastes like a cook sister. Pretty much. We call them Themikati. Yeah.
Themikati is bread, isn't it?
We call them Themikati too.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. So like I remember I came to school with Themikati and there was this boy. I won't say the race because it's not important honestly, but then he was really, really hungry. Remember that day was very hot. This was hotter than the devil's booty. Like it was hot. Egypt, okay? It was hot and he really wanted something to eat and he was hungry. You know when you've been in school for like hours and you just feel like this day is not going to end, the period is way too long, that you're hungry, you just came from break but you're still starving somehow underneath the sun. We move. So he was like, he really wanted to eat my fat chick. He really wanted to eat it, but because his friends were around him, the greener, because his friends were around him and he was afraid of what his friends would think of him type of thing. But at the same time, he was hungry. So what he did was he's like, okay, because obviously he's a friend of mine also, like we laugh, we joke and everything, but there was just this part that he did that really touched me till today. Like I'll never forget about that day. So he was like, let me taste before. He doesn't want to eat, but he wants to taste. So what he does, he takes his 2 fingers and he does this, like it's a pinch, basically. You know when you take a pinch of salt, that's what he did. He take it and then he puts it in his mouth and he tastes and he realizes it tastes so good. And he wanted to, and he's like, oh, it actually tastes like cook says this. How did you cook? And then I explained to him, this is what I did, this is what I did. And then he looked at me and he really wanted to eat more, but because of his friends, he was like, just give me another one. And so he took again a pinch and then afterwards he didn't eat again. And then I asked him, why won't you eat from me though? I didn't poison it, like there's nothing in it, it's just like literally a cook sister, like. And then he's like, no man, he didn't even have an answer for me. You know how it is when you actually catch someone in the moment and it's time to actually give an answer as to why you think of that, then he just like let it slide. And just give
it that's actually quite different. I've never experienced that. So there's this underlying assumption
somehow our food is just something
like something's wrong with us or something like that.
Yeah, but don't get it wrong. There are kids out there that are willing to learn. I've found a lot of beautiful South Africans that want to eat our food. I've been around, like even my friends,
open enough to
like they know what it's pondu, they know what is the small fishes. Like they want to know. And I have encountered a lot of good friends that are like that. But obviously there is that majority or that ignorant people that don't want to learn basically, but they just want to bash.
But for me, I understand being ignorant and I understand not knowing a person's culture, but I just don't feel comfortable, or I just don't think it's right for other people to be like nasty about certain things. Like don't be nasty because you don't eat fish or you don't like. Of course, fish does stink. Period. Everybody knows that. And like if I can explain as to why is it that foreigners like fish so much or whatever, it's like I said. So we all have differences. And there's certain meals we enjoy that's different to other people that enjoy certain meals. Yes. Like where we come from, there's a variety of different types of fish. We're not just stuck to snook, to hake, to your typical ones. Where we come from, there's dozens and dozens of different kinds of fishes. And other thing is
even
that
vegetables as well.
Even vegetables, there's options to options.
Yeah,
But I just don't like when people are like a bit nasty about the choice of food and what you're eating. I mean, yes, you can say it looks disgusting, but like that's food. It's kind of like it's food and it's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like, people must be open to other people. People should be open to other people.
And ask questions.
And also ask questions if you don't know something. And also like don't be nasty about it. Don't be nasty to another person that's a foreign, because we really go through a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We feel attacked. We do feel attacked, but
always feel left out.
Always feel left out.
So on that note, there was a time, there was a part where I'm still on that. I'm so sorry, but there was a time where you spoke about language. But the lady in the Uber, she said whatever she said, right? What I wanted to add on to that is that I picked up that languages are actually the same. There was a time whereby it was after school and the bell rang. And so you know that thing when it's after school, everyone wants to go home, no one wants to stay in school, we just want to go because number one, it's hard and everything. So cool. So that time, around that time, I think I was in matric as well, I'm not too sure. The whole school, you know when the bell rings, the entire school was already outside walking down the hill and everything. So there was a time where this person had something of mine that I was going after. So obviously I wasn't running, I was just fast walking. So as I was fast walking, my friend from the back, she was Congolese. So obviously, you know when you're walking down, your entire classmates are there, all grades are there as well. So my friend from the back is like, okay,
where are you going?
Where are you going? And she's like, I'm like, Nazolandela Mutu. And then a classmate of mine is walking, he was South African, he was walking and he's like, Ulandela Umtu. And then as I was walking, I looked at him and I was like, oh wait, hey, it actually is almost the same thing. And I realized that languages are also similar. Like there's words that I can find in Lingala that you'd find in Xhosa, especially in Nyanja and Shona. Like there's words that kind of, they may not be the same, but they kind of correspond. Like words like Ulukuti. And then like in Shona it's Urukupi, and Iwe is in Shona and it is in Nyanja, right?
In Nyanja, yeah. So there is a lot of like similarities in languages, because of course we Africans and the African language, they say that African languages are Bantu languages that all come from Swahili, which is like a language that's spoken in Tanzania, Burundi, Kenya. It's spoken in Congo as well. We speak Swahili, and it sounds different from country to country because of like accents and but you can hear. I can hear when the Kenyans speak, when the Tanzanians speak, when the Burundi speak, and there's some Somalians that actually speak Swahili as well.
Really?
The guy down the road there, but the one that calls it Tina.
Oh.
That guy. There's one of them that actually speaks, that understands Swahili. Like it's crazy. Like we are all literally the same people, and there is words that are the same. Like our arm in Swahili means mukono, and then it's also it's umkono. No, umkono. Mukono. I don't know. I remember my mom used to sell clothes. The ladies would complain that it's too tight for the arm. Emikono. There's literally a word that says emikono. Those that are
okay, comment down below, let us know.
Comment down below, because mukono is arm. In East also it's emikono, whatever, it's an arm. And there's a lot of words. I don't know, but I don't want to think about words and words. Yes. But however, there's a lot of similarities. And for me, what the funny thing is that you get people that they gossip. I mean, we all gossip and everything. You get local people that gossip around you. Like for me, with how I ended up understanding East Xhosa, or how I ended up, I don't really speak fluently because number one, I'm not comfortable. I'm not confident because I always feel like when I speak, the attention is drawn to me and it's like, oh, she's a foreigner.
You know the vibes
already. So I'm just like, it's fine. I'll just hide. I'll just be me in my corner. It's whatever. Spotlight on you and anything like that. So I had to learn the language because I always used to find myself in situations where like people would be like gossiping about me, like in my presence. Like, like it can be real. And I know that there is a lot of people that can relate. Like if you're Xhosa, if you're South African, or if you're foreign right now, you're watching, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I talk about you like while you are there. And say stuff like you don't, like you don't matter in a way, and that used to really like be so uncomfortable. And the funny thing is like everything they were saying, I could hear, I could pick up, and besides, just like because of that, I had to learn this process so that I can be able to like confront them. Like, hey, I can hear.
But the thing is, gossiping is everyone gossips. Whether you're from Nigeria, whether you're Congolese, whether you are, gossiping always takes place. But just in case you don't know, guys, okay, South Africans, let us even help you guys out, okay? Being a Congolese, like I know for a fact that you guys have been to salons and how we go down in the DMs.
Yes.
Like whenever we gossip, what do we do again? We do this, right?
So like if a Congolese person is talking about another person, they're like, so like that doesn't indicate like this one.
Like you can't point. We don't point when we talk about people. We don't point.
Like I think everyone.
We use our lips. No, people point.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The lower.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like it's a thing. It's a non-thing. Like when it comes to like gossiping and stuff like that. Like you'd be like, yeah, this one,
and then you know. No, we don't point. We just say
this one. And whenever you see a Congolese lady doing that,
just know the vibes. Just
know somebody here.
Get the vibes.
It's been gossiped about. They're saying something.
They're dragging you to the mud.
They're dragging you. They're taking you. Ooh.
Hey.
Especially, you can't assume that people don't understand
what you're saying. Yes,
so with languages, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Just because you can speak your language doesn't mean someone else can understand.
Yes.
That was really like my experience. Like people like gossip in my presence, and I could hear. I could hear everything. We can hear everything. Because a lot of the things are very similar.
Not everything, but some of the things though.
Yeah.
I can't say everything. That I used to be very, very shy. Like for my mom to come to my school. Because my mom used to wear African attire, and I was so insecure about that because I was scared that my school friends or the people at school would like make fun of my mom. And that's like, my mom never used to come to my meetings. Like I used to make an effort that she doesn't, unless she really, really has to. But even when she has to, I tell my mom, please don't wear this. Like the reason why I do that is because I don't want people to pick on my mom in that way. I used to be really insecure, and it kind of really did affect me growing up. But now that obviously I'm an adult now, I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of where I come from. This is what we wear. This is what we look like.
Yes,
girl.
and embracing
we are
everything.
gonna embrace that shit. Okay.
Yeah. And also, you were saying something about the Shoma Josie hairstyle.
Oh, the Shoma Josie. I spoke about the Shoma Josie hairstyle.
Oh, that now it's now a trend.
Now a trend. People are having it. People are
wearing it now. It's normal.
Yes.
Now everyone's accepting of it. So it just shows that when there is an understanding,
when you don't understand something, you hate on it basically.
Yes, you hate on something you don't understand.
Yeah.
How do you deal with all these kinds of experiences, like negative ones?
How did I deal with them? Okay, so because obviously self-identity, I feel like it kind of played a role in me because I let people, because of the environment, I was forced to not believe in myself. I was forced to see myself like, you know, I'm a problem basically, and I need to change. Like, there's something wrong with me being Congolese. I never used to embrace the fact that I was Congolese, you know that. There was times where I really and truly just wanted to blend into the point where I just look South African, therefore I speak South African.
Adapt the culture.
Yeah, adapt the culture. We are different people, come from different countries, so obviously we're gonna dress differently. So if you go to Congo now, you'd see the way we dress is literally the same way you see us Congolese here. So back home it's normal. But here obviously it's a different story. Like they're not used to this, they don't see this. Or not that they're not used to it, but today they don't dress like that. So that's why it's absurd. You know? So everything that we used to do back in the day, somehow along the lines we find it during these times. I was also insecure about speaking my language in high school or even primary school in general. I used to be very insecure about speaking my, even to my friends, like in primary school especially, like whenever imagine we're a group of Congolese girls but we used to speak in English.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want the other girls to hear what we were saying, because if they heard, they'd make fun of us and how we spoke, like just everything about us was just absurd basically. I was just so insecure about that. But when I was also like that. You don't want to speak. Oh, when I hear about foreigners in general just speaking their language, I used to be like, bro, how tough type of thing. That's how bad it used to be. But now obviously when I moved to high school, I met a friend and she used to speak to me. Every time she'd see me, she'd always speak to me in Lingala. And then eventually it started, and then eventually I'd like, at first I was obviously aware of that, like no, I'd respond to her in English. Then eventually I started getting used to it, like no, actually there's actually nothing wrong with speaking your language. You are who you are, you are where you come from. So what is it to be insecure about?
I think also another important thing is like to just embrace. I think for foreigners, you should just keep on embracing yourself. You are who you are. That's a good point right there, because at the end of the day, you are going to grow out of these insecurities, and you're going to find a group of people that will accept you as you are in South Africa. So South Africa.
No, South Africa is a good country. It's a beautiful country.
Yes, it's a beautiful country, and there is beautiful people here and everything.
No, we acknowledge that.
So as a foreigner, if you find yourself in primary school and in high school, and you're going through all these kinds of things, like just remember that every one of us have gone through this, and the older you get, you're gonna find more open-minded people.
Yes.
And the people that are teaching you funny now is because they're just immature
and they're ignorant. They don't really know much.
Yes, they don't really are not open to knowing our other people.
Yes.
And it is what it is. But you also can't control people's opinions and stuff like that. if you're Congolese or whatever, embrace it.
Whether
This is
you're
who you are.
Zimbabwean, Kenyan, Somalian, just embrace who you are.
And that's one thing I truly love about South Africa is that they really embrace their culture.
Yes.
They embrace their languages, they embrace their Africanness, everything about them and everything like that.
Yes.
They truly embrace it because for us, we never used to like embracing natural hair or embracing our language. Like I remember when growing up in Zambia, we only used to watch like news in English, and there hardly was a channel that had like local languages because we had the mentality. Well, we have the mentality of thinking Western is better, and you're like forgetting and abandoning your culture and things like that. If there's anything that I'm really glad that I've come to open my eyes to, it's just like accepting your Africanness and also embracing it openly. Because I remember in high school, I used to wear weaves. Which is also like absurd because like who wears weaves in high school at that time?
Especially at that age as well.
There was no such a thing. Like look at us, the people would like judge me.
Why do you have
like why do you have weaves on?
Why do you have horsehair on?
Yeah, like why do you have a weave on? You're too young. As a young person, you're supposed to only have like your braids or whatever. But like certain things like certain things that they used to do for me also used to be absurd to me. Like why would you have dreadlocks, or why would you have your natural hair like this look like? Because for me, where we came from, if you I'm not saying like everyone in Congo is like that, or everyone in Zambia is like that, or every country, like it's not like that, of course. But like in the environment that I was in, around the people that I saw around me, like my aunties, everyone around us, when it comes to hair and everything like that, to look decent or appropriate, weaves were the way forward. Braids are for specific occasions. Weaves are for specific occasions. Your natural hair are for specific occasions. The hairstyles you have with your natural hair are only for specific occasions. And but in South Africa, I would see a lot of people with their dreadlocks going to work. Not Bantu knots, but like African hairstyles like these. For your wedding, these different occasions, the way you don't expect such people are actually stepping in their truth in these spaces. And for me, that was like, I used to judge that. I was thinking to myself, no, why are you cutting your hair? Why do you have this hairstyle? In my mind, I'm like, you know what, it doesn't look pleasant. But I was ignorant. I didn't know better. Like I said, everyone has ignorance in them. So I say like, the more we have conversations like this, it's really going to help
open up to people to also, come to the platform and also ask questions that they may have in their hearts or in their mind.
Xenophobia, when there's xenophobic attacks, we feel very uncomfortable and very unsafe. Yes. Because, and also like when you get to school, no one really says anything. No one really says anything. And you are, first of all, fearful, but you have to go to school. And you get there, it's like only you, the foreigner, is affected, so no one really gets involved as to like maybe bring some closure, like if it's like the school classmates or whatever. No one really cares to talk about it. But I'm sure there's people who are okay.
Like I do have like friends that would come and like give me strength then, but not to say that it's not enough, but it's actually really not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough.
It's quite sad though that people who take rage to that extent. I mean, I understand the reason why there is that rage. Not that I'm saying it's correct to rage like that. I understand that they've got their reasons, the valid reasons of saying crime and it's pretty much crime and jobs. So I think we've come to the end of this chat right now. Maybe we can end up doing a part 2 of this as well. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you want us to do part 2 and talk about maybe, I don't know what else.
Maybe things that we left out or something. Yeah, whatever you guys anything else you guys may have in mind for us.
We might make a part 2 to this video, or just maybe invite a few other people to come sit with us and have a chat. So this was the RT show, signing out to you guys, and the floor is open to share comments down below, comment, and see you guys next time on the next episode. Thank you for joining. Bye.